Hi, I'm Greg and welcome back to my shop. In this video, I'm going through looking over this this jack plane. I believe it's late 1700s, early 1800s, but it could vary, and not certain of it, but I'll bring the camera in and take a closer look at this. So the characteristics that sort of give this away as a late 1700s, early 1800s plane is the handle shape. From what I've seen, that seems to be an older style of handle shape. Also, the other thing that gives it away is the iron setup, which is a double iron, not a single iron, which is supposed to be what they used in the 1700s, but double irons were invented then. And this one is quite crude, but just not that well put together. First thing is, I see this maker's name, Newbold, which has a zigzag border, and it's sort of not very neat, and this iron isn't very neat. So I looked up his name, and look up in this book. It's really good if you're into planes. I looked up his name in Plane Makers. Newbold made blades and shaft fields from 1787 to 1881. So that puts his plane could have been made between 1787 and 1881. But one of the main things that give it away are these screws. So these screws, if it was a more modern plane, it would have a machine cut slot and machine cut threads. But this, you can tell these threads were cut hand by a file because they're not cut by hand by a file because they're uneven. And the notch for the screw is slightly off center, and it's a V shape, which means it was cut with a file or hacksaw. And then another thing is this cap iron. Usually they put a brass insert or welded a piece of square stuff onto the back, but this one is literally just punched through the punched and threaded through this cap iron. Just the overall shape of this cap iron makes it very old school. And I think that, back to the screw, I sort of jumped over this, but I think that the screws that they made that have even threads were made by a machine, and I think that machine was invented after 1840 or 1830, somewhere around there. So this is definitely in between. It can't be any newer than 1840 at the very latest, and can't be any older than 1787. So this could very possibly be a late 1700s, or it could be a early 1800s up until mid 1800s, sort of. But I believe it's earlier rather than later, just because of the way it's made. And the sad part is there's no maker stamp on the front, so that's why I'm going mostly off the iron and the shape of the handle. If there was a maker's name, I could date it probably more exactly, but in this shape, probably not. Sadly, the wedge is broken on this. That's no big deal. I'm going to glue it back together with modern woodworking glue because it's a bit stronger. Usually for like repairing handles and stuff, I'd use hide glue, but for this, I'll use regular modern wood glue because it just holds a bit better, I think. But anyway, so I'm going to take you through cleaning this plane and just to show what it's like, what's being cleaned up. Okay, so I clean my plane with boiled linseed oil and fine steel wool. If you watched my channel before, there's another video of me doing this. But first of all, places like this where there's a sticker, I'm going to try to get that off. I don't like using a sharp chisel. There's this thing called the blunt chisel technique, and it's just a blunt chisel, and it works really good for taking shavings off things, but that's not what I want to do here. Just get off the sticker. Very gently use it to peel away the sticker. And just take it little bit by little bit. Don't get too aggressive because you'll end up marking the plane up, which you don't want to do. And the rest of that we'll scrub out with the steel wool. So to start, I like to put my boiled linseed oil in the container. This one I use all the time. Open this up, put some boiled linseed oil in it. do it quite a bit, because I'll have to do a couple coats of oil on this. And take my fine steel wool. I don't know what size this is, just fine. Maybe not extra fine, but it's fine steel wool. And I don't want to use anything coarse because I don't want to take away the patina, just sort of scrub out the dirt. As you can see there. And most of this is getting soaked in. Because this plane hasn't had boiled linseed oil for probably over 100 years. Or more. Likely more than that. So, and I'm going to try, I'm just going to try to stay in a fairly straight line, like that, and don't get too carried away as you go. Take some paper towel or a rag, and wipe off the excess to get the dirt off. So there's the first side done, compared to the other side. Now I'm going to do some work on the top of it. Back. As you can see, it's really soaking in well. There's actually a little divot there where the guy had his thumb working on it, but go all around. That every spot, and I'm not getting this precise. Future oilings will clean up any further dirt. I'm just getting the main grime off, and then after I do this, I'll soak it in linseed oil. But this is just a cleaning coat. That's why I'm rubbing the oil off so quick. Usually you want to let it sit. And then the handle doesn't need much. It's quite burnished from all the years of use. But just get, you know, all the dirty areas of it. There's some paint on it, which I'm just going to leave. I might scrape it off later if I feel like it, but right now it doesn't bother me. The handle soaks up pretty good because there's a lot of end grain. So there's the top, pretty much done. Spin it around to the other side. And the bottom I'm not going to touch yet because I'm going to be planing that off. And now I'm going to clean up the toe. And this will keep on soaking it in and soaking it in and soaking it in. So basically, just keep on putting boiled linseed oil on it until it stops soaking in. That's a lot. And this is where you might want to scrub a bit to see if there's a maker mark. Well, I highly doubt there is on this one. In this plane, the reason why it might not have a maker's mark is something could have happened to the front. The toe could have got damaged and he could have trimmed off the front. So yeah. But very unlikely. Maybe he did that. Looks about the right proportions of where the mouth is. But who knows. Yeah, he could have actually. And now that's going really slow soaking that in. And for right now, I'm just going to clean that off. See if I can see any maker's marks. Which I still do not. So that would lead me to believe there is none. Give the back a clean. Wipe it off, see if there's anything on the back of there. Usually it's just numbers. There's nothing at all back there. So yeah, so there's cleaning up a old jack plane. yeah, when I get this tuned up, I will take another video of it in action. But right now, that's all I'm going to do to it.